Welcome to the Playful Domme, the Poly Wife, and the Virgin podcast, where we share our most intimate stories, experiences, and details of our love lives, our intimacy lives, our play lives, and giving you the opportunity to gaze in and get a glimpse of what could be possible in your life as well. As we share our stories, our adventures, we weave in tips, tricks, and techniques to help build your confidence, boost your courage, and give you the opportunity to ask for what you want in your life. Welcome to the podcast. Oh, and just a couple of quick thoughts before we get started. One, we are just everyday people. We are not professionals, licensed therapists, anything like that. This is for edutainment purposes only. This is not medical advice or legal advice, financial advice, nothing like that. Listen at your own discretion. And this is for mature audiences. We're going into deep subjects and sharing deeply about intimacy and all the things about that. So just notice who you're around and let's go.
So welcome everyone to our latest episode of our podcast. And of course we were going to set it up and wait until my juicy lover Josh shows up. But what we've been talking about is so delicious and yummy that we're like, we got to record right away. So to catch you up, Lisa, the poly wife, was just sharing with us about her sapiosexual lover and a conversation of compliments he had for her and her husband.
So yes, so he's lovely. And for 2 weekends in a row, my husband was house sitting, and I was just really grateful that Sapio is conscious enough to acknowledge that, my husband's willing to leave the house so that we can have a couple of nights together uninterrupted. And the hubby has excellent partner etiquette, in that he doesn't text me when he knows I'm on a date. He doesn't, and I'm kitchen table poly, so I don't care if he comes over. I don't care if he's here. Everybody knows everybody else. It's great. But what was wonderful was the fact that Sapio said, you know what? It's really cool that Ev is willing to stay, is to be gone and let me be here. And I think that's really awesome. And I told him that, and he said, I really like to hear from you, that your acknowledgement that I'm really a good partner for you, in the sense that I do respect your space and the space that you need when you're with a partner. And I just want you to acknowledge that more often. And I was like, I do. But if you aren't hearing it, thank you for that feedback, because I am grateful that you are so good at giving me the room to have these other relationships. And I ended literally, yeah. And I ended the relationship with the guy that had his girlfriend was having difficulty with our relationship. And I was just like, I don't want you to fight. Is Josh here?
Yes, but finish your story.
Okay. I just wanted, I ended it with him because I just didn't want him to have another fight with her. I heard that, she wanted more time. We'd given her 3 months. She needed 3 months to sort of adjust to us being okay. And she hadn't yet adjusted, and she needed more time. And I was just like, you know what? I don't think it's worth the fight that you two are going to have. It's not worth wrecking your relationship so that we can see each other a couple of times a month and then always be worried that something we do will trigger her and make her not want us to be together. So let's just end it. And he said, yep, I think you're right. I think that's the best thing to do. So we ended it. And and this is the very first time I have ghosted somebody. I've deleted him from all of my social media. I've deleted his number from my phone. I blocked him on everything. And because I told him, I said, when the two of you are no longer together, through if death do you part or whatever happens, you break up or you're no longer seeing each other, then come back and we can have a relationship, and that'll be wonderful. But I made it clear that with her in his life, it'll never work for us. It's just too triggering for both of us. Ooh, and he's shirtless. Hi.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh. It's awfully nice to meet you. Officially.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. I'll have to
We
get
giggle a lot
one of my-
around sexy men.
I'll have to get one of my boys to come on here shirtless too. That'll be fun. I think we should all do that.
I'm feeling hot.
Like, I'm not sure.
I think I need a tall drink of water to match Jess's.
Oh, wow.
She's having her oat milk and
Oh, oat milk.
mud water oat milk combo.
Oh, how do you
Maybe.
like mud water? Because I wanted to try it. Maybe they could be our sponsor.
I love it. I've drank this stuff for a few years now. Probably
Oh,
20 years.
really? Yeah,
What
I'm
is-
actually thinking of doing it. Do you get a referral? Do you have a referral code if you refer somebody to it?
I'm sure I do. I could just log in them. I'm sure that it's automatic when you log into your account.
Okay, yeah, send me a code and I'll order some.
When
Because
I
I've been
first
really
started,
curious
yeah.
about it.
And this
What's
is
that?
not a room about mud water. When I first started drinking this stuff, I don't think I thought I noticed like a jolt of energy during the day. They changed their advertising over the years. Now they say, oh, they're adaptogens. It takes a long time to feel the effects.
Hmm.
So I must have been imagining it in the first place.
Know what mud water is?
Well, yeah, it's like 8 different mushroom species, like ground
It's a
into
coffee
powder.
substitute.
Oh,
Yeah, it has 1/7 the caffeine of a cup. I actually add it to my coffee. So I'm like, this is coffee and mud water.
Oh, okay.
It's probably a no-no, but I like it.
We also talked about having coffee. It's a euphemism for sex. So we'll say like we like having coffee
And coffee.
and coffee. Yes. Lots of coffee. We have lots of coffee.
you have
Hours
lots of
of coffee. Speaking of product plugs, which is weird, but I was going to talk about it. So with my body work that I do, I use this kukui nut oil.
Mm.
It's really, really amazing. Josh loves it. And right. Yes, he gives a thumbs up.
Instead of coconut oil.
Yeah, so it's by this company called Alba. It's Alba Botanica, and it's Hawaiian body oil, deep moisturizing kukui nut to nurture and smooth. And I use it in my sessions. So kukui nut is indigenous to Hawaii, and the royalty, when they got their massages, they get like 7-hour-long massages with this kukui nut oil. And so what a ritual, an unexpected ritual we've started doing is in the morning, I will take some kukui nut and I'll start massaging Josh's body and his cock and get him like revved up. And then he'll do the same thing for me. He'll start massaging my body with it. And then when we have sex, it's like so fucking amazing. Like I feel so yummy inside and out, like literally inside my body. I'm like, I feel so warm and yummy. I don't know what's happening. There's something very magical about this oil. So
Wait, I want to write it down. Can you post
Can
the
you-
bottle again, please? I want to
Yes.
spell it right.
it's Alba, ALBA,
Kukui
is the
nut. Okay.
company, and then kukui nut, KUKUI nut. And it just has a really nice scent to it. It might be a little, I mean, it's not sweet like floral, but it's nutty. But yeah, it's so good. And every time we massage each other and then have sex, I feel so fucking good out after, kind of. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
Right. And then we also tried this thing that I saw at my naturopath's last week. It's called Slippery Stuff. And it's water-based. And I guess there's a silicone version as well.
Oh, it's not gonna work.
But she was but she was using it to do her exam on me. She said the physical therapist like raved about it, and she raves about it for sex play. So it's called Slippery Stuff, and you can get it on Amazon.
Okay.
There's no parabens, no glycerin. Yeah, paraben free. So yeah, so those are, I just used that. Oh, and it's from Puyallup.
From Puyallup?
Puyallup.
Wow. Right down the road.
Yeah. Made in the USA.
Woohoo. Slippery
yeah.
stuff. Okay, I'm ordering it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how like eco organic, but you know, it works. So, which leads us into having Josh here today. So, yeah, great.
Is that better?
Sure.
I'm turning my lights off. You're turning yours off.
He's like lighting the mood. It's so
Well,
important.
I didn't know if you could see or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna take this off. I'm really hot. Sorry.
Oh, we should all be topless, right?
We should all do.
One of these days, we're all going to have to do it. That's what I want to do. I want to do a topless cast. Okay.
I wanted to put my shirt on, but she vetoes it.
I'm okay with that.
I think our first agreement we had, like the first day we were together, I was like, anytime we're in the same space, we should be shirtless. It just makes sense. It's way too good looking. It's so hard. Like, and then he wears like this, he'll wear button shirts. Okay, this is the bane of my existence right now. So he'll have the top button unbuttoned, but that's it.
That's pretty dramatic.
But that's it. And so I'll be like, can I unbutton the second? And no, I cannot unbutton the second button in public. No, cannot feel this. No. It's torture, literally torture. And so I'll like go and I'll start to unbutton and he'll like, no, put his hands over mine. No, this is not the time or place. Just, you cannot unbutton shirt in public.
I love it.
So prostate. So I know that a lot of women and men can get squeamish about prostate play. And I know I was until I trained as a dominatrix. And then that was a very big component of it. Josh has been playing with the prostate for how many years? 4
or 5 years, maybe.
What started it? What was your...
Well, I knew it was, an organ of sensation, and it's very connected. And so I researched, how does it work? And then I went, just got a toy, just a little pusher, something, and it was pretty miraculous. And I thought, wow, I wonder what this other one is like. Now I have like a small collection of nothing extravagant. I mean, I had a vibrating thing, and it was almost too much. I mean, there's different shapes and sizes, and I'm like, some are too big, some are too small.
Can you show us the toys?
Yeah. Can you show us?
Because I literally have no idea what it looks like. I have a stainless steel G-spot thing. Can I use that?
So there's two ends, right? So that piece is based on, if it's not that, it's based on the product called Enjoy.
It is. That's the one it is. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the one I want to get. So there's a smaller head that's meant for the G-spot. Yep. And then there's a bigger head, a bigger bulb at the end that's meant for the prostate.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So, I didn't even know that. And I have an extra one. I lost mine, and then I ordered another one. Would you like it?
I would love that. That would be amazing.
Okay, so just send me your address.
Thank you so much. That would be such a treat. So there's a dom in Columbus. She's been doing this work for like 14 years. And out of all the prostate toys, all the tools, that metal one, she said, is by far the top. He has a lot of toys. It's the top choice with her clients.
Okay.
So it's because in my mind I was like, oh, what prostate? And I bought a vibrating prostate massage tool to use for my massages, but I haven't used it yet. And then I was going to use it on Josh, and he's like, oh, the vibrator one is actually too much. Do you have all of them?
I'm missing 2.
You're missing 2. Uh-oh.
Lost.
When I moved, they're in a box.
Oh.
My favorite 2.
Your favorite 2?
Are somewhere else.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Well, I can replace one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used my finger today. So he's got toys, right, that like hit certain spots. But there's something in my head. I'm like, I have a belief that what we can do with our hands is more powerful than
Yeah.
a toy, because I can feel, I can navigate, I can shift, I can change, I can be very nuanced and nimble. But I'm sure everything has its place. He's toweling off. Yeah.
Well, some of them just
Are dusty.
there's lube in there, and it's
Sure.
What
So
did you just mention? I wanted to order it.
so the prostate though is very arousing, and it's super important for men's health is to have prostate play and prostate touch and massage. Is very, like, of all the different levels of cancer that men can get, prostate is the number one, and especially as they get older in their 50s and such, it becomes an issue. So the more that they can, arouse their prostate, allow that feeling. There's something called prostate milking, and I've done this a few times, where you stroke a prostate so for an extended period of time, like almost an hour. You stroke it for that long, and what happens is that the prostate sends out a different ejaculate through the penis. And from the men that have experienced it, they've said it's as close to having like an out of body experience. It's just like this, full body thing. So, yes, nice book. So, come as you are. Wow, he's got half of my collection of books that I trained in. Yep. Wow. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to show you some of his toys he has. Can we show them what you've got?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this one is about 8 inches long, and there's like a bulbous thing that's tilted curve, so that like goes in and hits the prostate.
You need all, but how far in does it go?
So it doesn't go very far. So when the prostate, you can use your middle finger and reach the man's prostate.
Okay.
I have very little fingers, so if I can do it, anybody can. I have like petite hands, but like I will go in pretty much. So what you want to do when you want to enter into prostate play, and I'll show the array of the instruments in a moment, but number one is you want to have them be very relaxed. A lot of men get nervous. So when I do a prostate massage, I'll explain to them, especially if they haven't experienced it before, like it's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to have something going up inside you where you're used to things leaving. So having that kind of entering in space into your sphincter can be uncomfortable. And I'll say there's a difference between being uncomfortable and it being painful. Right. So uncomfortable is okay. Painful, let me know. Lube is super, super important. The more lube you can use, the better. I've mentioned this before, but one of the Parisian doms I trained with, who did a lot of anal play, she would say, use enough lube, like you're trying to fit an elephant into a mailbox. Like you want so much lube that it doesn't create like friction, because it's so sensitive in that area, in the cavity. So I wear gloves. Yes, Lisa, you with your hand up.
Yes, I have my hand up because so my subject is Ev. He's going to be my test subject because it's something he's interested in, and I've never been willing to do it before. So are you okay, I need to be warmed up before somebody enters my body. So I'm wondering, is there foreplay beforehand? Are you just asking the guy to lie back, throw his legs up and, lube him up and stick a toy in? Or is there massage? Do you do a whole massage beforehand? How do you prepare a man for this, even before you get to the how-tos of it?
Great.
Wait,
I love seeing Ella's expression. I'm so curious what.
I want to see.
How in the background.
I want to see the expression.
Josh wants to see the expression. Okay, so if any women have experienced anal sex before, right? Like, so it's some. I think there's like some similar mindset things to move through and work through. So, first thing is taking a shower and getting all nice and clean inside and out, right? That is something that a lot of people have I know I do. I'm like, I don't like, ooh, you know, like so you can do enemas if you want. There's enema bottles you can get at pharmacies and they can clean themselves out. That's a very typical practice for men that go to a Dom session. If they want to have anal play done, they know they need to be cleaned out. That's like hands down a thing. So there's enemas you can do. One of my girlfriends who's a former Dom, she and her husband would get into the shower and they would like make it this kind of like sexy play thing where they would be like, you know, soaping each other up like inside and out, getting all nice and clean before they like moved into doing anal play. Another thing that you can do if you're doing anal play or prostate massage is have gloves, you know, and then that also like, especially if they're not like your committed partner and you're just kind of playing around, I definitely think from some of the stuff I learned, definitely a good idea to have gloves. So you can order those online. I like nitrile gloves. But you can just get like regular exam gloves also from the pharmacy, and then having lube. You want like the best lube. I think we talked about it last time or one of our previous episodes is J Lube. You know, you can get at the farm and feed store, you know, get the J Lube stuff, but this slippery stuff worked pretty well.
No, I just use my water-based lube. I've never had any silicone based.
All right, so he just uses water-based lube. The challenge, the good thing about gloves is obviously it's an extra level of comfort and also sanitation, you know, where it detracts similarly to, I'm sure, a man saying like, oh, I love having sex without a condom, because they can feel things so much more deeply than when they have a condom on. But again, of course, always safety first. So having the glove, having the lube. And so I like to definitely warm up the scene, warming up the guy, like, you know, us making out and playing. Like Josh and I had sex for an hour and a half this morning before we did that.
Something like that.
2 hours. We had been like playing and like,
what time?
Yeah, right. We woke up at 8:30 and like we started like, you know, having sex and sexy time and like all that stuff. And then I was like, oh, it's 10:30. We've got about 25 minutes. Would you like a prostate massage before my podcast? And he's like, yes. What can I want? No coffee. No, there's too much time. Okay, let's go. Like, yes,
very much, please.
Very much. So he got very excited and like jumped up and we got the sex towel and stuff. So I love having a sex towel too, by the way. Like, we have sex when I'm on my period. So it's like super great just to throw a towel down and use that. And then when you're done, you just throw it in the wash and all is good. So, so yeah, there's definitely like warming up. And how do I say this? You know, there's always like the sneaky person that kind of like sneaks a finger in, you know. I know guys have done that when you're having sex, you know, like you're having sex and then like all of a sudden like it's like, oh, maybe I'll just do this thing. And like they do the thing without like asking.
Oh God.
Asking beforehand is like the kinky surprise that you didn't know was coming, that you didn't ask for, right? So
right.
So it's nice. I love it.
Jess.
Okay. But it is also the guys do the anal slip in, right? It's like they don't know women's anatomy and they've like had amnesia, so they're like,
whoops.
They do the whoops thing, and I'm like, no, that's not.
No.
You're like shifting. And they're like, oh, my bad. I didn't know. It's like, yeah, shut the fuck up. You know, but they're afraid to have the conversation about it. So it's like, well, maybe if we slip it in and it's an accident, they might like it.
Oh God, Jess.
Well, okay. So in my lover's defense, he was so small that he couldn't actually tell the difference. Tight was tight enough for him. So he actually couldn't tell the difference. It's because he wasn't very big, and it didn't bother me very much at all.
Yeah.
So,
Sad for everybody.
No, that's true.
So there are those exceptions, right? But anyways, point being, like, have the conversation. If you're interested in exploring anal play with your partner, why not have a conversation about it and just see how they feel, instead of being in the throes of passion and then gain the adult surprise.
Oh,
Josh, have you done that?
I've never done that.
Josh has never done that.
I've never done
Thank you, Josh.
yeah. Yeah, right.
I believe you.
that. I've
The
never
finger or the cock?
Something has to slip somewhere. Happens. Not
well,
me.
never on purpose.
No.
See?
I can't. In my mind, I can't. Yeah, I'm like, I can't fathom like playing the trick on somebody. That just doesn't sit. It doesn't sit
Right.
well with me.
Yeah.
If it's something that we're interested in, yeah, just definitely talk about it.
Right.
But that's not a huge like erotic thing for me. I don't like fantasize about other, the orifice. It's like there's not a thing in my mind where I really want to go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tricky. I mean, there's moments when it's dark and you don't know where you are, but you're not gonna like. It's not gonna happen. Like it's not. It just doesn't happen like that.
No, doesn't like that. Yeah. Oh, Jeff. Oh, funny. Oh my God.
I mean, the moments where like, sorry. That's
Oops.
oops. Yeah, but it's not.
No. But you recognize the oops and you retreat.
Yeah.
And you then take better aim. Right.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah. That's a temporary
Well
mistake.
done.
We can do better.
We can and we will.
We can.
We will do better.
We'll do better.
We'll do better. So if you're not comfortable with entering in your finger, which of course toys are a great other option. And one of the best things I ever heard, there was like a couple that had been married for like 60 years and they were like crazy in love, and it was super sweet. And it was like, what's your advice? And they're like, try everything twice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Everything twice. And so I think that there's a massive amount of opportunity when there's a beautiful level of trust that's developed, and also like an openness to exploring play. Like we all have our kinks and fantasies and desires, and how to show up as partners for each other to explore that. And are you open and willing to say yes, and what that could look like, and what are the, safety protocol is not the right word, but what is like a good like guide or lead into the thing. So prostate toy,
Barely feel that one.
it's okay. He says he can barely feel this. So it's 3 inches long. It's curved at the top. It's a little bit wider at the top, but only about like 1 inch wide. And then there's like a little anchor piece at the bottom. So I'm guessing that's to help.
You need something like this on the bottom so it doesn't rotate. You want, this thing is really flimsy. It's really soft. You want something big on the base too, because you don't want to go to the hospital to get this thing out
And
later.
explain it.
Yeah, so if it's seated, then something with this shape will keep it from rotating. That's the big thing, because some of them, like if there's something with just nothing to grab, it will twist unless you keep your hand on it. And it's supposed to be like, it's on the anterior wall, so you want something to kind of push. But the thing is, the thickness and the depth is like the primary factors you got to get right. Anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought.
No, it's good. That's a good train. So, and then he has a bigger one that,
Oh, well, to close the story on this one, I barely feel this one. Like I'll use it sometimes, only if I want just like a little bit of a push. I can feel it. I can tell.
Yeah.
It adds something, but it's not really intense.
Yeah.
So you might have that inserted while you're having sex or just during a massage?
Both.
Okay.
Great
What was
question.
the toy you had the other day when we had sex?
It was this one.
Oh, okay. I couldn't even tell. I didn't like he put in, he's like, oh, and he went in and put a little prostate toy in, and we had sex, and I couldn't tell there was anything there.
On him or on you?
On him. Well, I couldn't see anything. Like, it's not like there was like this big thing hanging out or something. Like,
you've got to go looking for it to even know if it's there or not.
Yeah, it was quite the hidden little treasure.
Subtle, yeah, subtle.
So this toy, I guess, it's a little bit bigger. Same kind of shape.
It's a lot bigger.
It looks like an apostrophe.
It's a lot.
Looks like an apostrophe with a hook at the bottom, something that you can like put your finger in and things like that. And so there's tools that are specific for prostate, and then like a tool like Lisa mentioned, the Enjoy, which is the metal U-shaped one that has 2 different balls on it. One is meant for the G spot and one is meant for the P spot. So if women are like, well, why would I do what is the big thing about prostate anyways? Because, you know, most of us have, our reference point to prostate has to do with like American Pie, and when the guy Stifler like gets fingered by the nurse at the doctor's office for his like prostate exam, you know, like that's kind of like the level of understanding that we have. So it like kind of freaks, and most men will know that the kind of prostate experience they've had has been from an examination standpoint. It's like, it's rough, it's not sexy at all, it's in a clinical sterile environment, you know, it's uncomfortable, but it might also feel kind of good, so then that's confusing, you know. And then there's also that a lot of men will attribute prostate play with being gay. Like, if I like or homosexual, like if I like this, then it means da 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 da. And so there's a lot of you know, and I think before I've done all of this work and training, when there was like a boyfriend of mine that was interested in it, I was like, well, what does that mean? You know, and it's another area of arousal and eroticism and pleasure. And we want to help our partners. I think it's great to help turn our partners on with all their pleasure points and places. So Lisa, you have your piece.
Yep.
Done.
So this would be the prostate end, and this would be the G spot, is what you're saying.
This one? You have that one?
I've seen that one.
It's very heavy. I'd say it's probably
steel.
3 pounds.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know
I had some,
that, y'all.
I've had a steel one. I didn't like the shape of it. I got rid of it. I've also had glass.
Yes.
Didn't like the shape of those. I don't have those anymore.
Wow.
1 pound.
That's a big one.
But it's
wow.
1 pound.
Yeah, put that in some warm water for a few minutes first.
That's a good reminder. Thank you. That's a really good reminder.
It's steel. That's going to take 5 minutes to warm up.
Yeah.
Best if the body doesn't have to do it itself.
Oh,
yeah,
and
one of the things you want to remember is to start it with very hot water, like 120-degree water, because it's cold just in room temperature. It's at 70 degrees or 74 degrees, and it holds that 74 degrees. So if you start your water at like 120, it will end up at body temperature. You don't want to start with body temperature water, otherwise this will not, it'll still be cool.
Another reminder for those of you that are playing with toys, keep them specific to the partner you're with. You don't want to, especially silicone plastic toys, you want to keep it either for yourself or with your committed partner. If you're going to play with different toys, like for me, if we're doing Dom sessions, there's like condoms that are used on all those pieces, Calvicide, like some really, really deep cleaning products that are used and stuff like that. With the metal, you can boil it. You can do different things to sterilize it. So that's important. So yeah. So do you have so there's another toy that he has. That's the vibrating one.
This is chargeable. Yeah. There's an input here. It's a USB. You can charge it with a USB cable. This crapped out on me a while ago. I still have it. I'm not really sure why. Fond memories. But it doesn't, I mean, it still works as the device to make contact and increase the pressure, but the vibration function's gone. It's got different settings in the bottom.
So this one looks like a curvy L shape, capital L. And
this will swivel if you take your hands off of it. The shape of this base, this is supposed to keep it in place. You know, it seats like this, but one side for me is not enough, and it'll rotate inside.
Okay.
Which is
And
not,
also, wouldn't the length of that bottom also sort of tuck up under your balls?
It's supposed to, yeah, like the perimeter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to seat in between your legs to keep it from rotating. But for me, this is too long. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is this, 4 or 5 inches or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be, you know, there's this. The idea is that there's a sphincter that seats here and keeps it internal
At the base. Okay.
But for me, like, it seats about here.
Yeah.
So it'll slip. It slips out like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then it rotates,
Gotcha.
and then the pressure's gone.
Yeah. So like my finger is, I don't know, how many inches would you say that?
I don't know. 3.
I have little fingers. So again, you don't need like these massive things. So then there's guys who get like dildo length pieces where that's really not going to hit your prostate.
I've got that too.
And he's got that too.
That thing works great. It's a bit too much, but it rotates.
Is it more like from an angle piece, or?
Yeah, this has got to be at an angle. This has grooves. I mean, I guess this is supposed to stimulate the glands, I guess. But this will seat, and this sphincter grabs underneath it. It won't come out.
Mm-hmm.
This is so thick, like it does a really good stimulation job, but it doesn't taper off. So the sensation's kind of stranger. For me, I like it better if it tapers off at the bottom.
So if it's bulbous rather than straight.
Yeah, and that's the vast majority of how they're all done, bulbous at the top.
I just want to describe it for our listeners because they don't get the visual.
Yeah. So, and then something like this is good because even if it's really thick at the top, even if it does rotate, the pressure is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a lot to think about, I guess.
So having tried these toys and then experienced my finger today, he's going to measure my finger. How adorable is this man? Yes.
Not even 3 inches.
What
a cute little finger.
I do. Yeah,
two
like
and 3/4.
2 and 3/4.
2 and 3/4 inches.
That is. So I think about, I wish my fingers were like maybe a half inch longer. So like just over 3 inches, I think, because that I can hit usually the bottom of the prostate, but to like get like the full length of the prostate, I think another.
This is the length of your finger.
Oh, this little itty bitty one is the length of my finger. So how would you say, so having experienced those toys, and then experiencing my finger today, what would you say, like, how do they differ for our listeners?
So toys are great for like constant pressure, which does miraculous things, but it really doesn't, it pales in comparison to like moving touch. Yeah. Like she got in there and kind of like came from the top and can kind of push down on it. And it's a totally different experience. It's way better.
Okay, I think I can get that.
To be concise. Yeah, and just to have someone, giving you that attention is miraculous. That someone would be willing, to do that for you and to concentrate on you and give you that is amazing.
Yeah.
It's a fun experience for me. Like obviously I want him to be like super aroused. So then while I'm inside him and I've got my finger like fully in. So in terms of like a position, there's different positions that you can get into. I have him laying down on his back and maybe his legs are spread, and then I'm sitting in between his legs and I've got my finger like inside, so my arm is like in an L, and then what I'll do is I'll sometimes I'll like rest my elbow either against like my hip or my leg to give myself some extra stability, because to be able to like hold that thrusting part. There is a point.
Are you sitting perpendicular? So like in an ohm situation, the stroker is perpendicular to the body. Are you between his legs facing him?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in between his legs facing him. I haven't tried the Om position on him, but he's done the Om position on me with G-spot stimulation, which is
that's interesting.
Jess,
Instead
tell us.
of clitoral stimulation, doing G-spot stimulation.
yes.
Oh,
The Om position is, of course.
Yeah, so there's this technique called the one stroke or oming, and what it is, it's something you can research online. It was developed originally through university studies, and then a woman named Nicole something or other, she took it on.
Daedone, Daedon.
Yeah, she took it on and created something called One Taste, and it took off around the world. And so it's a single stroke that it's done on a woman on her clitoris, and it's in the upper left quadrant of her clitoris, and there's a whole like draping. It's almost clinical in a way, like it's not meant to be sexually.
It's
a practice. It's not
sexual game.
Right. It's not meant to be like foreplay going into sex afterwards. So it's and what happens, and I'll explain the sequence of it, but what happens is it starts opening up a woman's sex. So her clitoris is like this gateway portal to like her opening up her sex. And what starts happening is, and it takes time, it doesn't happen like over 1 or 2 sessions of this practice, but when you start doing it enough times, her sex starts opening up, her body starts opening up, her womb starts opening up, and then she starts becoming like this fucking sex animal that wants to fuck anything. Like she just like, it's like opening her up into like this roar piece after women have been so repressed and so neglected for so long that like she starts coming alive. And one of my girlfriends, she was having like men come and practice on her, because there's no sex, they're not kissing, there's no intimacy between the giver and the receiver. It's not that. It's strictly this one stroke for 13 minutes, I think, or 12 minutes.
13.
And then 13, and then when it's done, it's done. It doesn't lead to sex, like that's it. But she was doing that practice, and she was having 4 or 5 men come and on her a day, and it got to the point where she was having within 24-hour manifestation. Because our pushies, when they're switched on, turned on, and she's being fed, she will make magic happen in your life like you have never experienced, like truly incredible stuff. So the oming, it involves the woman being clothed until her waist, and then she's stripped down from her waist down, and then the man or the woman, whoever is practicing, will sit perpendicular to the body and will drape a leg over them, so it's almost like blocking the view. So it's not, again, women, like we've got so much on our minds, right? So it's trying to like drop our vigilance to just get us into our body system. And then the practitioner will there's a whole sequence, and I haven't done it in a while, so there's
I just
usually
did it last week. I can explain it.
You just did.
Yes.
Yeah, because Orion was here, and he and Amy practice Om, and he's done dozens and dozens and dozens of Oms with different women. So he's a practitioner, not a coach, not an instructor. So you sit perpendicular, and so his left leg goes over my midsection.
Okay.
And his right leg goes under my right leg and connects with my left foot. So my legs are splayed.
Okay.
And so his foot is meeting my foot, and his other leg is over, bent knee over my midsection. And that way he can hold open my labia with his left hand.
Okay.
And support my vagina area by inserting his thumb just at the base of my opening. And then he does one stroke with his index finger on his left hand. And for 13 minutes, it's one stroke. maybe in both directions, one direction, and we
How do you feel? I feel like that would like drive me crazy.
It's because it's a practice. For me, I am completely fabulously repressed. My clit, my whole pussy takes a really long time to open up. I feel nothing for probably 5 or 6 minutes. I don't feel anything. And then finally I can sense a stroke, but I have never orgasmed from it. We've probably done it maybe a dozen times, but it's so infrequent for me that once he's here again in November and December, I'm hoping to have at least a daily practice or an every other day practice while he's working at home, or not at home, while he's off from work every other week. So,
hey Jess, for you, have you had it done?
Yeah, I had it done while I was in Paris, and so I had a few experiences of it. It's something
for you, is it clinical as well, or do you orgasm?
It's clinical, but it's, you know, women can orgasm from it. It just takes frequency. It's a practice. It's like good for a daily practice. And there was a couple that I know that were very tantric, and the woman would have her partner do it for an hour, and he didn't know this, like a 13-minute practice. She would just have him do it for an hour, and you know, and so they would just like keep going. And the thing is that, like, you know, when Josh is doing like G-spot stimulation for me, like, I mean, that is a very vigorous activity and practice. Doing the prostate, that's a very vigorous activity, you know, with our fingers and our hands and our bodies. You know, the one stroke, I mean, it is like dink, dink. It's like a 1/4 inch. Just got to keep doing it. You don't shift it. You don't go harder. You don't go faster. You just, you know, and it's like, there's something about teaching the body to like, just be okay with that. We've become so desensitized. Like, vibrators, unfortunately, like I even know, like Layla Martin, my teacher, she really discourages people from using vibrators on your clitoris because there's so many nerve endings there, and when you put that much vibration on it, I know Lisa has like a sucking device that's different, but that vibration desensitizes the clitoris. And so now, like Josh, he like, can I talk about?
Yes.
Okay, so like his head, he has no sensation in. That is like a new thing for me.
I feel pressure. He
feels pressure, but he doesn't feel like, you know how men like typically their heads are so sensitive, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sensitive. Like, you know, like, wait, hold, you know, whatever it is. And he doesn't feel that sensation. So it's great because then we can have sex for hours and hours. But like my clitoris, I mean, it works in my favor. I'm excited about it. I'm bummed he can't feel it because I love the head of his cock so much. It like drives me crazy. I
know you're there.
He knows I'm there, but it's not like he feels the shaft, and he feels like up to where the head is, like, so just underneath it, and then nothing, and then pressure.
Well, the glands, I can feel over the glands,
right?
But from the very top down, there's not much sensation.
Right. There's not much sensation. And then he's discovered, and so we're both pretty confident in our abilities and skills. So he can't feel me like really, like he doesn't have the sensation. And then he feels that, and then he has the same situation with my clitoris, because my clitoris is like kind of numbed out. And so we're both like, how do we get into this position? Like, you know, we're both like very confident at our skills and what we can do, and then we can't get each other off, but we can have sex for hours, and okay, cool, it works, and we're fine, and we're committed to it. But I do think that that toys have been a detriment, that like they've really like created a desensitization in those stimulus. So it becomes like a new game of like slowing down, of being present, of feeling each other, of, you know, all these different practices. So prostate, what I was going to say, when you're done, so there's sometimes men like they just want to have the experience, they're not even sure. So what we can do as women, assuming this is a heterosexual couple, what we can do, like what I say, like when I'm about to give a man a prostate massage for the first time, I'll let him know again, like, you may experience it feeling uncomfortable for you, and that's okay, because I'm entering into a space you're not familiar with. I will take my time. I don't just shove my finger up inside a man's ass. Like, that's awful. So what I'll do is I'll, unless they've been warmed up and they're used to that kind of thing and it slides in, but a lot of men, it's like that starfish doesn't want to like open up. It's like, what's happening? Wait, no, there's a pressure going the wrong way. So like learning how to like put, again, the lube on the fingertip or on the finger, relaxing, just holding it where that starfish is. You can like kind of like massage around it and like hold it, and let it kind of, it'll start relaxing. You can feel it. It'll start relaxing. You can apply a little bit of pressure and just hold, and then go a little bit further and hold. Like, this is not meant to be like a quickie at all. Like we did a quickie with him because he's done a lot of prostate play, but I set aside in my head at least like a half hour in my mind of like taking my time with it, because the body deserves that. And if there's that pressure of time, it's not going to work, because they're going to be in their head thinking about the time instead of being in their body. I also encourage them to breathe, and I'll let them know. So I'll be like, all right, so I'm going to, as I'm telling you, I tell them the same thing. I'm going to place my hand at the very end. I'm going to let it relax, and then I'm going to move a little bit in, and then we're going to guide in a little bit more. I'm probably going to go in about maybe this far in. I'll show them where on my finger, about this far in. And there's going to be a spot that I'm going to feel, and it's going to feel almost like an almond. Now, sometimes prostates are inflamed or they're enlarged. And there's one guy that I did that with one time, and it felt enlarged, and I actually like encouraged him to go have it looked at. So this is another beautiful thing about doing this work, is being able to help support healthy prostate health. But it's usually like an almond shaped thing. It can be slightly deflated. It can feel kind of silky, waxy. And then what happens is, as the prostate is getting more aroused, it will start getting harder. And that's when I know that they're about to come, is that like it'll become almost like a hardened almond, and you just keep stroking. So there's different strokes you can do. You can look it up online. There's the come-hither stroke, which is, coming in and like curling the tip of your finger as like pulling them towards you. There's a windshield wiper kind of stroke you can do back and forth. Sometimes you can do more than one finger at a time. I usually use my middle finger. It's the longest and strongest of my fingers. You can do like a tap where you're like on the piece, and you can ask them as you go, how does this feel? Harder, softer, faster, slower? Just let them like check in, because also that a lot of people are kind of like frozen in that position, like I don't know what to say. This is also new. I don't know if I like this or not. There's a lot of like kind of
Once again, I'm going to ask a question about positioning. So it seems as though you're using your right hand.
Yeah, I'm using my dominant. Yeah.
What are you doing with your left hand? Are you playing or holding his cock in any way? Are you holding down just beneath his cock, and what would be the equivalent of like my mounds, right? My mons and hitting, if you're imagining a woman and hitting a G spot, right? What are you doing with your left hand?
Yeah. So great question. And remind me about positions too, so I don't forget. So my left hand, I will usually utilize to stroke. So there's a double stimulation. Sometimes that combination is too much. It's too overwhelming for the guy. So then I'll just switch to the prostate. Some guys are like, okay, I tried it. That was fun. Okay, cool. Like they'll go a few minutes, and I'll let them know sometimes it takes a few times. Again, when I said like the couple that said we'll try everything twice, at least try 2 or 3 times, letting your body warm up and get used to this new sensation, because it's all very, very new. So in terms of like positioning, they can be on their hands and knees, and you can enter in from behind and have your fingers pointing down, right? Because it's like it's like toward the belly, so it's like pointing down. You can have them laying on their back, and then you're hooking the finger up towards you. You can have them with their legs in the air, so like their knees are up, and you can expose there, and you can do that. And there's so many different ways to like plug and play. Like if you see like an opportunity where maybe you're close enough that you can maybe I'll try that with Josh, that like if he has his legs up and I'm fingering his prostate, then maybe I can also suck on his cock or his balls or lick them, or you know, something like that. Yeah, he's very enthusiastically nodding his head. So, you know, there's just like these different ways. Yeah, there's just like these different ways to like play and put it together. And however long you're willing to go, and if you need to alternate, like, and then there were times where he took over stroking his cock. So if there's a lot that you're doing at one time, so I don't expect everyone to be masterful at this, and I am not a master at this. I'm just down to play. And I think that's like the biggest thing, is that like open to play, let go of the ego that you're maybe not getting it right, you know, say yes to like their kind of guidance, and ask the questions again, like, how does this feel? And like, and he'll give me feedback like, oh, it feels so good. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, so good. And I'm like, okay, so I know I'm on the right track, you know, and then he'll share like some more like, can you go harder? Can you go faster, a little faster? And so then I'll do it, and then I'll say like this. So we get to like get the confirmation. So you're keeping that connection and communication going, which is super important. And then, do either of you have any questions so far?
Mm-mm.
No. So
That usually take to get to milk or whatever.
Is the goal to get them to come?
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, I think there's like a desire, a wish, you know, but
Okay.
I think that when we put so much pressure, literally, on like, and he and I both want each other to be very satisfied sexually. Like it's a high priority for us, and we also take a longish time to orgasm. We're both finding our not shortcuts, but we're both finding the navigation point of like, oh, so when I do this G-spot stimulation, and then I fuck her for a couple minutes, then I go back to the G-spot stimulation, and then I have her ride me on top, she's gonna, yeah, that's it. Like, you know, we just kind of
combo.
That's the winning combo. And you know, and he can, and because he's so, it's amazing that even though he can't feel in his head, he's very in tune with how my pussy responds on the inside. So when I'm starting to get very aroused, he can feel my vaginal walls start squeezing him, and he can feel it, and he knows like I'm getting close, because and I'm not doing it, it's not my Kegels. So we've been taught like strengthen your Kegels and all that stuff is not my Kegels. It's like my vaginal walls are like, they're starting to like, I think, massage him to like get his cum, you know, like give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So my body's doing that, so he can feel the internal responses that are happening. So it's very, 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 very exciting. Very exciting to have somebody so attentive and in tune, paying attention. So the suction.
I feel your suction.
Yeah, she's like,
Oh, feels your suction. Yeah.
She's like, give it. I want it.
Suction is very, very helpful. I found that in hand jobs and blow jobs. So yeah, that's suction. That's a fun one.
Toys.
That's the toys, right? Oh, you have suction toys too, right?
They don't have a suction element.
Oh, okay.
Well, these don't, but
You have other toys.
the other toys do.
Ah, yes, he has other toys for other functions, for other things. That I get to.
We should have a toy episode where we talk about our favorite toys and how we use them. And because I also just had a quick conversation with my girlfriend about masturbating, And I realized I have a very boring masturbation practice. And like, she was just saying all the different ways she masturbates. I'm like, what?
Huh? Yeah.
Huh? So we should definitely talk about that too.
We should
And I
have
was
her as a
actually
guest.
wanting to have her on as a guest. So maybe next week.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's talk about all the ways to self-pleasure. So another really cool tool. This is for women. It's the yoni eggs, and I've spoken about them before. And they have the drilled hole, and you can put the string in there, and like you can enter that inside your walls. And it's a really great way for the women to strengthen their vaginal walls, but also help release different things that can be stuck in stagnant energy. There was a guy I dated last year, and I sent him one of my yoni eggs, a smaller one that was rose quartz with the drilled holes in the string, and he actually put it inside his sphincter, and he used that as anal play. And apparently that was fantastic. And because it has the string, it's not going to get lost in there, and you do not need a hospital visit. For string for the yoni eggs, unwaxed or like silk thread, literally silk thread, or if you're going to use dental floss, you can just use like the unwaxed kind. So back to the prostate. So there's multiple positions that you can put them in. Do you have a favorite position when you do prostate stuff?
Because I've acclimated myself to use my legs.
Yeah.
I like to feel like I'm physically exerting myself.
Can you hear him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me to actually finish, I don't have to, but it's very, very helpful for me to feel like my heart rate is increased and I'm doing some work. So I'll squat down. So I have two positions. I'm either on my.
I'm learning so much today.
Yeah, I'm either like in hero, basically hero pose. This is
like on his knees, sitting on his knees.
Yeah,
Sitting on his knees. Okay.
This is the relaxed position where I can't do much work. But if that doesn't work,
that's the hero yoga position.
Like if this doesn't work and I need to feel like I'm
really
I'm
working for it.
More for it.
Yeah.
I'll get on my feet.
Okay. Then he's doing a low squat.
Those are
and using his quads.
Those are
down.
basically.
So is he then manipulating the
prostate?
The
so
base?
If I'm in the first position and I have something with some length, if I have something with, you can angle it on the floor, or if you're on a mat or something.
Yep.
Or I've used an array of pillows and a meditation cushion.
Yep.
To get like a height so you can control things.
And so then you're just sort of wiggling on it to manipulate it?
No, I don't move. I try not to move.
So when you're in that, so what are you doing? Are you masturbating?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, I have never had an orgasm only from the prostate.
Okay.
Not yet. I have recent
goals
experience that it's possible. And that's pretty exciting.
And then
I'm folding laundry.
And then the second position is what?
If I have to feel like I'm doing some work, I'll just get on my feet.
Okay.
And then I can kind of like act like I'm doing, not just receiving. I have difficulty. I've trained my body over the years to be a little bit hesitant to receive. I have to feel like I'm doing some work.
Yeah. So that's part of the fun of breaking down these conditionings.
I would like to break that down
to make it a little bit more easier. So those are some positions from him. And then we did it for about like 25 minutes today, the prostate play and the alternating with so when he started holding his cock and stroking his cock while I was having my right hand with my middle finger inside him, because that freed up my left hand, what I actually did is I grabbed the bottom of my wrist and I used it as extra support and thrust. So I don't know if he noticed a difference or not, but I felt like I was more supported with my left hand, kind of like strengthening or fortifying my right hand as it's, doing the stroking motion. So I did that. When men are milked and you feel, again, like when you feel the almond become very hard, that's when you know like they're about to come, and it's really exciting. So continuing that stroke, whichever stroke it is that you're doing, and they're going to have an orgasm. When a man is milked, prostate milking, he has an orgasm, it's a different ejaculate. It looks different. It has a different kind of feel to it. And they experience, like I said, the equivalent. To me, it sounds like a complete out of body experience that they have. There's other techniques that like I've learned in my massage work recently, a new modality that I have, where men are experiencing internal orgasms for minutes at a time, and they don't understand what's going on. They're just like, I'm feeling this thing. So when the prostate is done, when he's orgasmed or not, if there can be a point where they just get really, it's a very intense sensation, right, babe? Like super intense. So
yeah, it's awesome.
it's awesome. But for men at the beginning, it's overwhelming. They haven't been accustomed to it. It's a brand new sensation. So they might at the beginning only be okay with like a few minutes or 5 minutes before they just get too overwhelmed. Another thing you can tell them is to encourage them to continue to breathe, and I speak pretty softly, like, how does that feel? Softer, lower, like, yeah, babe. Yeah. Yes. Like, and something that I was I have 2 tips. Man, I have a tip for women. This is a fucking game changer in sex. 100%. Are you ready for this? Write it down. This is super easy. I've been doing this. I've been practicing this now for a few weeks with Josh, and it is like completely transformed how I have sex and experience it, and how I know how he does, because I can hear his response when I do it. So here's the thing. We tend to hold our breath and keep our mouths shut when we have sex as women. When you open up your mouth and unlock your jaw, you're opening up your pelvic floor.
Oh.
So, and I know, to me, I feel very unsexy having my mouth like open.
It's
like
really
Josh is saying it's really sexy. I feel very, very self-conscious because I'm like, oh man, this is, so like having to move through.
so strange you feel that way.
Yeah.
Not strange, but
well, because like you see like
paradox.
Like porn or like super sexy photos, and the woman was like, oh yeah, and it's like, great, they got the move, right? But like, yeah. I'm going to now try this thing, and I am not a porn star, and this is awkward for me because I'm not comfortable or used to my muscles being relaxed in that way. So maybe try with the lights off for the first few times to like feel more confident. Candlelight is also a good option. I don't recommend daylight for the first few times if you're doing this. But like opening your mouth and relaxing your jaw. And so this is the cycle. Ready? This is the cycle of, I do 3 open mouth breaths. It's breath, sound, movement. These are 3 pieces, whether it's shamanism, whether it's sexuality, whatever it is, breath, sound, and movement. So when you have your breath, when I do 3 rounds of open mouth breath, meaning I don't close my mouth. It's really hard to do when I'm making out because he's so yummy to kiss, but like I'm trying to keep my mouth open and my jaw unlocked as I'm doing an open mouth breath. What ends up happening is, what happens? Like you feel it, right? My pussy changes because I can hear him being like, oh, like he feels it. There's a shift that happens.
I'm attracted to you.
Yeah.
When your mouth is open.
Oh, he's attracted to me more.
Ooh, there you go, Jess.
Interesting.
I mean, like I'm already insanely attracted to you, but it's an invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting because my mouth is always open because I'm breathing hard and I'm laughing a lot. The expression when I'm stimulated is laughter.
Mhm.
So I am breathing hard and laughing hard. As a matter of fact, I actually was thinking that maybe that was the cause of my farting problem, is that I'm gulping air. Listen. Listen, we got to talk about it, right? It's horribly
We do have to talk
humiliating.
about
It's
it.
awful, but it happens. Oh my God.
So it is queefing, right?
It isn't queefing, it is farting.
No. Yeah. But that also happens.
But it happens, yes.
Happens.
So much air build up inside your body from the many thrusts, and then there's the queefing after. It's very uncomfortable. Yeah. So
But
these are part of this is part of the perils that you take on, right? But
yeah, let's reassure all the women that are the people who are listening, about the whole farting thing. Remember, we've talked about that. Let's just reassure them that it's normal, and
Yeah, it happens.
it happens.
really normal.
Well, it happened this weekend, and Sapio said to me, he says, "Oh, I guess you feel really comfortable with me." And I was like, "Nope, I don't feel comfortable with you at all. It's absolutely 100% humiliating. I am not ready to fart in front of you, but it happened. So I'm just choosing to accept that this is how my body is showing up. If you can't handle it, then oh well, but it's just me." And then he farted in front of me and like, okay, we're all done. He goes, "Oop, me too." I'm like, okay, we're past it, whatever.
Josh says he has a farting story.
Oh,
Josh.
No, it's not really yummy.
Oh,
This was ex-wife. Early on in the relationship, we're getting to that stage where things are getting very exciting, and I was getting one of my first blowjobs from her, and it was fantastic. And I was in a chair in a room in her house. I've never been in that room before, and it was great. And out it goes. And I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that." And she stopped and looked at me and she said, "That just means you're relaxed."
Oh,
I was like, not anymore. Not anymore.
well, that was the source of my farting problem, is that I kept giving little poots while I was being given oral. So it was awful and humiliating, but now I'm just laughing about it because I accept it.
Yeah, I mean, she totally assuaged my fears pretty quickly and said, that's fine, honey.
Okay, I'm sorry she's your ex.
Anyway.
I mean, I'm glad she's your ex, but whatever. She's my hero.
That was a long time ago.
I know.
She's got kids and remarried.
I thought
Thank you for sharing.
I thought there was gonna be a wet fart component to it.
No.
Like as you said, the chair, and it's like in the room, and I'm like, oh shit, like he's gonna like have a wet fart, a shark.
Just a normal fart.
Oh God.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm so happy I'm not alone.
No, you're not alone in the fart club. The secret fart club.
Yeah, I'm feeling
Fart
like
from
I'm
the dark.
butt plug or something.
Josh has said, first rule of fart club: you don't talk about the fart.
No, you don't talk about the club.
Oh, you don't talk about the club. Excuse me. You don't talk about the club.
Oh, so
Talk about the fart. So, I think if anything, just recognizing that this all can be a really joyful adventure, and the more that we're able to embrace the things that we feel self-conscious about and bring them up and bring them to light, be like, oh my God, like Lisa said, I have a thing about Josh going down on me while I have my period. I'm like, I don't like, it doesn't bother him, but like, I'm like, I feel a little uncomfortable, and it's been really cool to coincide being at a hotel when we're having sex when I'm on my period, because then you can make as much of a mess as you fucking want, leave a little extra tip for the house, the house, no, was it the housekeeper?
Housekeepers.
Yeah. Housekeepers. I strip the bed. I'm a very conscientious stare. If I'm going to make a mess, I try to like make it a little less obvious and be a horror show when they walk in. You know,
make sure they don't think it's a crime scene. Yeah, I get
it. Right. Like, but to me, I'm like, this is the perfect scenario. We don't have to deal with this shit. They'll bleach it and clean it, and totally worth it. And period sex is amazing. It's like, it's really, really juicy and delicious. And if you can get over the blood thing, it's pretty awesome. So, well, we've covered so much territory today. I want to thank Josh so much for coming on. What an absolute treat. The ladies have been asking for after hours stuff that I've like promised, and I need a man's body to
After hours stuff.
Yeah. So, showing techniques and like all that. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Josh is like, well, play your cards right. And so many things to mention again, like, get juicy, have fun, set a timer, and not actually yesterday. So Josh and I are used to having sex for hours. And then yesterday it was like, we've got 2 hours. Like I came over, I'm like, I've got 3 to 5. Are you free? He's like, yes. I'm like, I'm coming over. So like came over, we did some talking, we had some sex. It was great. And then the thing happened where I got so switched on, turned on. I was like, I want more fucking now. And he's like, Jess, it's like, you gotta go. I'm like, I'm like, no, more, no, don't. And like, we get up and he's like, I could bend you over the bed. I'm like, do it. Like, fuck me right now. And so it was like, those extra like few minutes, and it's like, and then he's racing to his thing and I'm racing to my thing, like we gotta go, but super, super fun. Right. And so then I was like, I want your cock so much. When you get done with work, I'm fucking climbing all over you. And, and then the mood shifted and changed, but it's like taking advantage of those moments and having some joy with it. You don't need 18 hours to have epic sex and connection. You can have 30 minutes and know you got to like give it all that you got. So, this was a super, super fun episode. I'm so grateful that we all got to play. Lisa, do you have any famous last words for this podcast or anything?
I did. I wrote down 3 ideas, not for the next one necessarily, but ongoing, which was masturbation techniques.
Yeah.
But really like to talk about that. A show and tell for toys that we like, and explain how they work. And then I also kind of wanted to talk about this specifically, about what I've understood and recognized about my readiness for sex is that what I experienced this past weekend, having a lot of time, 2 days and 2 nights with Sapio, is the difference between how my vulva is engorged when I'm like hot and ready versus a lot of the foreplay time, which is trying to get me all woken up. I mean, the readiness of my pussy was completely apparent to me. We were done with sex and I realized like, oh wait, I am now like ready, not done. And so maybe learning some shortcuts to get to that hotter place a little faster, get my pussy a little bit more engorged and ready for sex, so that it doesn't take 2 days to get it ready. Right.
That awesome. And also write down about your blowjob techniques.
Oh, blowjobs. Yep. Blowjob techniques. Okay. I'll practice this week and, kind of take notes.
Yes. Please practice this week on your stable of men and let us know some of the, what's so great. I do appreciate this about Lisa is that because she has a variety of men to practice things on, she's able to speak to a diverse range of audience versus like, this is one cock that I work with and this is what does it. She's got a few more extras. Ella, last thoughts, biggest ahas.
Woo! It all was an aha. So thank you for sharing, Josh. Great to meet you. And let's keep sharing. That's it. I'm trying to process.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, such a blast, such a joy, such a pleasure. To all of our listeners, this is.
It's nice to meet y'all.
Oh yeah, Josh, is there any?
Josh,
Did you
hopefully
have?
you'll visit sometime.
So happy to have you on.
Yeah.
This is so much fun.
Did you have any offers or surprises?
I have a lot to process too, but I'm doing laundry at the same time. But it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing that there's such an open discussion about it. I love it.
It's great.
I'm very proud to be a small part of it today. It's a lot of fun.
Good. Awesome.
Yay.
Thank you.
I think get some great G-spot stimulation for that. No, he give us regardless. So thank you all so much for listening and joining in. Remember, like, just have some fun, get some oil, get some, lube up, pick up an enema. I don't know, go do some crazy shit and be willing to play and have fun and see what's on the other side of your curiosities and following into your desires. So thank you so much for joining. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode, where for sure we're going to have lots of laughs and lots of tips and techniques and some stories to share of our, of our explorations, and can't wait to share more. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.
Mwah, mwah. Bye.
Bye.
Want more? Head over to theplayfulpodcast.com for all the juicy things we have to offer. From there, you can join our community where you can get access to after hours, attend upcoming workshops and events, and even book a session. Bye for now.